Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But Lord knows I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. You look a little blurry, Craig. I'm trying to see you. There you are. There you are. Hey, my name's Mike Pierworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most. From the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. 2A Views, conservative news, and wait, there you are. I see you. You're right over there. Right over there.
By the way, today happens to be Throat Punch Thursday.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
It's Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
Sometimes you just got to punch him in the throat, Mike.
Right in the throat, baby. They just need it.
Well, I think the people that I want to punch in the throat right now will be the folks over at Xfinity Comcast because, you know, I shell out a decent bit of money for my internet connection. And for some reason today, they have decided that they are going to pucker up like that when it comes to the flow of energy or bandwidth.
Let's see. I am still at high-speed upload and high-speed download. And as usual, I'm on my neighbor's Wi-Fi.
You're on your neighbor's Wi-Fi. Pretty much. There you go. Well, I'm on my Wi-Fi. That's what makes me mad. If I were getting a bad connection on my neighbor's Wi-Fi, I'd be mad at my neighbor. But it's my Wi-Fi. Dagnabbit.
No, my neighbor's been good to me. He doesn't know it, but he's been good to me.
He doesn't know he's being a good neighbor.
No.
Oh, gotta love it. How is your day going thus far, sir?
Did you say Dago? Did you call me Dago?
How is your day going thus far?
So far, it's going well. Going good. I thought you were making a Italian comment there. It's going well, sir. Going well, sir. Hey, I did hear some good news for President Biden today.
And what is that?
They say they told him he's getting Mexican food for dinner, so he's smiling. And I realized the reason he's smiling is because he doesn't have to wipe his own ass.
Okay. That's pretty good. Folks, just so you know, I'm looking at my internet connection here, and I know for 100% for sure, I cannot blame Restream for this problem. This is clearly on Xfinity. So just so you know, if the program is cutting in and out, or if the program is choppy, once we're done here, because we're recording it here, it'll be up on Spotify. If you want to go there and watch the program afterwards and actually be able to hear and see. I apologize about this, man, but this is what happens when you, I hate to say this, sometimes this stuff happens. So I do apologize, but we're going to make sure that to have a quality program available for you, at least on Spotify. The connection seems to be coming back and forth, but it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. It's like California. They giving us brownouts on our electricity wasn't enough. They had to start doing it with Wi-Fi as well.
You got the California brownout Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the digital has divided right in the middle of my frigging show. All right, well, let's get ready to start talking news stuff. But before we do, you know what we got to do. We got to give that quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hey to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, you probably got one of their barrels and you don't even know it. Well, now you can buy from them factory direct to get your next barrel for your next AR build or rebarrel. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. If you want the best in concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com, where you can use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, all caps, no spaces. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, outdoor gear, whatever it may be, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor. Do them a favor. Do yourself a favor. Go ahead and visit them. All you got to do is follow the links in the description to this program. We have links to all their websites. You can go there. You can check them out. I know you're going to like what you see, so you're going to spend some money with them. And when you do, make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, however you are partaking of the program, want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't just subscribe in one place, because you know how these folks in the tech industry are. You know that they are clearly at war with conservatism. So you may lose episodes. You may miss episodes. You may not get a chance to partake of the knowledge and the wisdom that is Craig DeLuz and Mike Piwowarski because, well, you know, maybe YouTube took us down, or Facebook took us down, or Apple Podcasts took us down. If you subscribe in multiple places, and the places I want to make sure you subscribe are Spotify and Rumble, because those are the two places where I'm pretty sure our free speech will be protected, where I've yet to see one episode get taken down. So want to encourage you, if you haven't already done so, please make sure, like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get into today's news stories. And we're going to start off here. Let's see. Oh, rewriting of history. We knew that they were going to start rewriting history because, well, let's be honest, they knew they were going to have to. I mean, we know that Kamala Harris was a failed presidential candidate 4 years ago. She didn't even make it to the first vote, to the first caucus, let alone long enough to be able to get an actual vote from a voter. And then on top of it, Kamala Harris, during her time as vice president, has managed to rank number one as the most disliked vice president ever since we've been measuring it. Ever since you've been looking at favorable and unfavorables for vice presidents, Kamala Harris has ranked number one as the most disliked vice president. But that doesn't matter, because they have to rewrite history, because now she is their darling, right? You recall Joe Biden, as late as Sunday morning, the campaign was on the Sunday morning show saying, we're fighting. Joe has said that he is in this, and we are in this. We are going to be fighting, and he's going to be the nominee, and blah, 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 blah. And then literally, I saw one tweet that was 13 minutes before then it broke out on Twitter, before they sent the thing where they were resigning. Well, anyway, they're now in the process of rewriting history, because they've now got to make it look like Kamala Harris, well, they got to make it look like she is a viable candidate. Well, one of the ways in which they're doing so has to do with looking at her track record. Now, there's a company organization called GovTrack, which tracks your voting record, it tracks your attendance, it tracks all of these various different things about those who, in particular, who are in the federal government. And there was a page that they had that actually, where they had a list of the most conservative, based on their votes compared to other conservatives, but the most conservative members and the most liberal members. And guess what? Kamala Harris was ranked as one of the most liberal members of all of Congress. Not just Senate, but in all of Congress. But let's just focus on the Senate. All right? In the Senate, that means she was more liberal than Bernie Sanders, the socialist. Or Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Well, GovTrack has since gone back and, they removed that page from their site. That's right. Right here, this is being reported by Breitbart. It says here, a 2019 GovTrack score that ranked Vice President Kamala Harris as the most liberal senator was recently deleted. As Breitbart News reported, GovTrack established the list of 100 senators in 2019. Out of senators, Harris was in the 100 spot and was viewed as being the most liberal senator, right? In fact, let's go there real quick. All right, that was right there. So this is where they reported on the rankings. Let us go back. But now when you go to that page, oh gee, what happened? The page is gone. Now, I will, in their defense, I will say this. If you go to Kamala Harris's direct page, now this is the page about her and her 2020 record, there she is still listed, ranked most politically left compared to Senate Democrats, right? So it is still there. But Mike, they're doing their best, man. They are literally doing their best to try and change history. Like, another example is the border czar. Remember when she was named the border czar? Well,
Oh, yeah.
The folks in Axios don't remember her ever being named the border czar. In fact, they did a fact check. They said she was never appointed the border czar, except there was one problem. Mike, they had to go back and correct their fact check because Axios was one of the, they said Axios was one of the media outlets that incorrectly claimed that she was the border czar. But the problem, Mike, was all of them claimed she was the border czar. Now she wants to say they now said she was never the border czar. I mean, Mike, is this or is this not a rewriting of history?
I said it to you yesterday, Craig. You're in the middle of a coup d'état, and you know the issue is she's too dumb to realize it. She's too dumb to realize she's being used as they rewrite history around her to try and make this look legitimate. This is embarrassing. We're continuing to see the slide around the world of respect for this country, and God help us that we get through the next 100 days or so.
Yes, it is. The funny part is another area, Mike, where they're rewriting history. Now,
right.
They're making it sound like you saw. I'm sure you saw all of the, whether it was the print stories or the interviews on television about how sacrificial, how noble it was for Joe Biden to save our democracy by choosing to step aside. Now, Mike, you and I both know he had a political gun to his head. And they said, if you don't sign this letter saying that you're getting out of the race, we're going to blow your political brains out. You knew they were doing that.
You're giving him more credit than I do. I'm telling you, Craig, they went in there and told him this is what's going on, and he just nodded his head and said, okay.
But once again, this has nothing to do with him being noble. This has nothing to do with him being they forced him out. Period.
Yeah. Well, again, how could you be forced out of something that you don't even know you're in? I mean, that's really where he's been the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's all bad. All I can tell you, man, is it's all bad. And what's so frustrating about it is to watch people that I know, people who are not dumb people, fall for it. I mean, they're literally. I'm like, really? I'm like, how stupid are you? I do. I want to tell some of the people that I know, that I care about, that I consider friends. I'm like, what is wrong with you? How can you possibly fall for this?
Because their hatred for Trump blinds them. They don't care what's coming from the left. They hate the right, and they hate Trump so bad that they're willing to just, be convinced, be lied to, and accept it as the truth.
Well, and you're right. That's what it really comes down to, Mike, is their hatred of Donald Trump is at the core of it. And they are willing to believe anything if it supports the narrative that orange man doesn't get in the White House.
Yeah.
Now,
He's Hitler.
what are they
He's
going to
gonna destroy
say
democracy.
when 2028 comes around? Donald Trump is finishing his second term. The economy is roaring. There's peace in the world. Our borders are secure. I mean, what are they then? What are they at that point then going to be able to say? Oh, and Donald Trump is on his way out of the White House. What are they? What in God's name do you think they're going to be able to say? They're going to find something, but it will be proof positive that they were 100% wrong.
They will continue to lie, Craig. Listen, it's 100% wrong now. You have the unique opportunity to look back and say we had 2 4-year presidents that had 4 years. There's a 4-year sample, and you to take a look at the outcome of both of those 4 years of presidency and tell me who you were better off under. And now both of them or one of their byproducts wants to be president. It's so easy to look at this, yet they won't, because they're being fed the malarkey from the left, and they're willing to believe it without just take it under. They don't care if it's a lie, the truth or not, but they so don't like Donald Trump that they're willing to accept it.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was watching Nancy Pelosi getting interviewed on MSNBC, and she talked about how, well, you know, Donald Trump he lost more jobs than any president in U.S. history. And on MSNBC, the anchor had to say, well, you do know that there was a global pandemic, right? I mean, that's what happened to a lot of the jobs. Now, mind you, she didn't point out that it was the blue state politicians who shut down their economies that resulted, because it wasn't COVID that lost those jobs. It was Democrats shutting down their economies that lost all those jobs. That had nothing to do with Donald Trump. But Nancy Pelosi looked at her and said, he lost more jobs than any other president in history. That's just the fact. And if you want to be a Trump apologist, well, then I don't know what to tell you. MSNBC. MSNBC. Yeah. An anchor on MSNBC is supposed to be a Trump apologist?
Yeah. Well, it's MSNBC. You know, they have a rating of like 8 people watching them. So.
Yeah, I honestly, if it weren't for the Pfizer advertising dollars, I don't know how they would stay. I don't know how they would stay in business.
Yep.
All right, and that, by the way, brings us to that question. Kamala Harris, the border czar that wasn't. Now, there's 2 ways to take this. She either was the border czar, and she either wasn't the border czar. She was never actually named the border czar. And I will give you this little bit of credit. He never actually called her the border czar, but he did note that he put her in charge of looking for and identifying root causes in order to stem the tide of illegal immigrants migrating from Central and South America to the U.S. Now, that sounds like she's the border czar. At the very least, it sounds like she's in charge of the border. But nope. They said, nope, sorry. Nope, never actually named her border, quote unquote, czar. Okay, well, she was in charge of the southern border, which then leads us to the next question. Whether you call her the border czar or not, we now have, according to the numbers, Mike, approximately 10 million people. About little over 8 million we know for a fact were, what's the word I'm looking for? In border encounters. Another 2 million or more, I believe more. I believe it's actually closer to 7 million, but you know, I don't have anything to back those numbers up. Anyway, all that having been said, we know it's more than 10 million people have illegally entered the country during the Biden-Harris administration. Sounds to me like she sucked at being a border czar.
Well, yeah. So that's why they're saying she was never the border czar. You know, she was put in charge, like you said, of the migration problem at the border, with the authority to do such. That would make her the border czar, right? Just like they made her the gun czar, right? And didn't they make her the public health czar, the COVID czar? They made her the czar of everything. It was like it was Biden's favorite word for a while there.
No, you're 100% correct. It was like, well, this is the way we're going to go about doing it. We're just going to make her in charge of everything. And then she embarrassed them by not doing anything. You think about this.
Yeah.
Another fun thing she did. They sent her to Ukraine to try and to Russia to meet with Putin to keep them out of Ukraine. And then less than a week later, Russia invades Ukraine.
Well,
She couldn't even
sure,
defend their border.
She gave them the plans. That's what she did.
She gave them the plans.
She went over there and got some of that Ukrainian electric company money.
Once again, I just believe that if Donald Trump just focuses on her abysmal record, and he's so far from what I've seen, I saw him do his speech just the other day, and he really did focus on her record. Now, obviously, he's going to hurl the insults because that's what he does. But the thing was, they weren't incorrect. They were not incorrect insults.
Yeah. Hey, she does love yellow school buses, though. I found that out this week. She
Oh,
loves
and
yellow
Venn diagrams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She loves Venn diagrams too.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
All right.
School bus.
Now, by the way, not only was she unsuccessful in preventing a war there in Ukraine, but she's actually ignited another war, and that is a war between Hollywood and Silicon Valley. And this is a piece once again that is in Breitbart. And it says here, Kamala Harris's candidacy ignites civil war between Hollywood and Silicon Valley. F these Trump-loving techies. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so 4 years ago, Hollywood and Silicon Valley were united in their mission to stop then-President Donald Trump's re-election at all costs. But now, as more tech bros have publicly declared their support for Trump, the already uneasy relationship between California's two largest industries, political fundraising bonanzas both, has become bitter and nasty. From Elon Musk and David Sachs to the WikiLeaks twins, tech bros are jumping on the Trump train in response to the Biden-Harris administration's many ruinous policies, particularly its penchant for excessive regulation and plans to introduce a tax on unrealized capital gains, which would hammer the wealthy and sap innovation. Even Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, who interfered in the 2020 election on behalf of Joe Biden, recently called Trump a badass for surviving the recent assassination attempt. Their political heresy has only further estranged them from Hollywood elites who already deeply resent them for upending the entertainment industry with streaming media. So, Mike, you've got like the George Clooney's going up against the Zuckerbergs and the Musks. And what's funny is, literally, the reason they're supporting Trump, I think, is for the same reason that a lot of people support Trump. The policies.
Cash, baby.
Cash.
Because the tech industry makes their money when the rest of the country is doing well. They make their money when private industry is doing well. Unlike Hollywood, which just can bank their cash anytime they want to, and they can continue to spout their rhetoric without any fear or repercussions, because people are still going to go watch their movie crap. But the tech industry needs a strong economic future in this country, and they haven't had that for 3.5 years.
Well, no, they haven't, and actually, Hollywood's not doing as well. With the exception of a few blockbuster movies, a lot of Hollywood movies, especially like Disney movies, they're losing money, or at the very least, they're not making the sort of money that they thought they should have been, that they thought they should be making. And a lot of that, you know what a lot of that is. A lot of that is the wokeism that's been injected into a lot of these movies. But you know, when you start opening your Yap Trap, and when you start deciding that you are going to then try and guilt Americans into doing what it is that you want them to do, and vote for basically like liberals. I hate to say this, Hollywood in particular. Their attitude is, well, they're not going to come down on us. They're just going to come down on you peasants. So, we can handle their policies.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is about money. And by the way, most of Hollywood, they make their money from most of them are employees. They're not the one. They're signing the back of the checks, not the front of the checks. And the folks in the tech industry, guess what? Most of them are signing the front of the check, not the back of the check.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'll bet you there's some Gen Xers and some Gen Zers that are like, what does he mean signing check? What's a check?
Yeah, I know, right? Listen, anytime there's a fight in California amongst people in California, Craig, the rest of us are just chomping on the popcorn watching. Yeah.
Well, especially when it's liberals in California fighting each other.
Cut each other's throats. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, I enjoy it when it's liberals going after each other. And really, right now, the Republican Party in California has made itself so irrelevant that pretty much that's all you have is left on left violence.
Yeah. Yep.
We're working on it, though. We're working on it. Us in the California Republican Assembly, we're working to try and change that.
I keep telling you, have them jump down on that fault line. It'll be all right.
There you go. All right. You may have not known this, but D.C., first of all, they've always had strict gun laws. But now that they are now required to issue, now that they're required to be may issue when it comes to permits, they put in place, like many left-wing or blue or anti-gun, however you want to put it, jurisdictions have done, they instituted some really, really bad rules. And one of them was a prohibition on off-body carry. Well, guess what? That prohibition is actually being challenged. Being reported by Bearing Arms, it says D.C. faces challenge to off-body carry prohibition. The post-Bruin United States is a place where people in progressive strongholds are dealing with different challenges. The District of Columbia is one of those places that already has some really harsh laws, but seems to be trying to fly somewhat under the radar. Let's be honest, the district has caused a ton of harm to the Second Amendment already, including little-known law in our nation's capital that prohibits those who lawfully obtained carry permits from being able to engage in off-body carry. Off-body carry, as a general concept, is a carry manner where the firearm is not directly attached to the body of the bearer. What that actually means, though, is different depending on who you ask. For example, one of the only other jurisdictions that has a similar prohibition is New Jersey, and their law differs a little bit from the district's. I'm going to read this thing down here. It says, okay, former CNN news anchor Lynn Russell is convinced a handgun in her purse saved her life and the life of her husband. Yet, a district regulation prohibits purse carry and all other forms of off-body carry on pain of revocation of Metropolitan Police Department's issued concealed carry permit licenses. So in other words, Mike, what it's looking like they're saying here is this is actually now being challenged. And I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I'm not in favor of any sort of a carry ban, but I will say that I'm not a fan of off-body carry.
Yeah, I know. There's some times where you can't carry on your body. Yeah, probably so. But I think there's ways to work through those to mitigate those. But for those people that carry in a purse, carry in a fanny pack, carry in a backpack, as long as they're in control of that item, I think it's going to take longer to get to it, but it's still better than not having it at all, right? So it's an easier way to move it around and transport it when you're told you can't have it on concealed carry. So I can see the argument for it. I don't think I would ever do it, Craig, but like you, I'll fight any ban on the firearm. So let's mount up.
Well, exactly. So I'm looking forward to seeing this thing get challenged. And it's, ultimately what it all comes down to is this, is they're going to look at it and they're going to have to determine, where's the law on this? Where is the historical law on this? And I think you're going to find it don't exist.
Yep. Yeah, this will be another one that drops by the wayside. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Supreme Court.
And I will, once again, folks, I will continue to say to you, I know that in the 2A community, we have some mixed reviews of President Trump when it comes to some of the things he did, some of the things he said. But in the end, it was those Supreme Court justices that he put in place that have us now winning all across the country. That is a huge win. I mean, if we're looking, if you're measuring based on the Second Amendment, if you're looking at wins versus losses or positive versus negatives, that positive, it far outweighs anything else. I'm not saying ignore the other stuff, but I'm saying you can't ignore how big this Supreme Court, nominees, the ones who we put on the Supreme Court, you can't deny how big a deal that was.
Craig, the Bruin decision is second only in importance when it comes to guns to the actual Second Amendment itself. There is no other more powerful statement or decision out there besides Bruin than the Second Amendment itself. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. No, you would have said Heller before Bruin, but Heller didn't go far enough. And Bruin kind of, it's like Heller opened the door and let all sorts of nonsense in. This one kicked that door open and kicked all the nonsense out.
That's it.
There you go. All right, folks, that brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Go to hogholsters.com. Make sure you use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, and get your Hog Holster today. All right, this first one here, and you can tell we're kind of excited about this upcoming election. And I'll just tell you, one of the things you really need to prepare yourself for, you need to prepare yourself for this upcoming election. You need to train, right? You need to train. You need to be ready because it is going to be a fight. And this guy right here, well, let's just say when the time comes, he going to be ready.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Listen, that was half the country on the assassination attempt day when they were waiting to find out what happened.
Looking for that man. Speaking of the assassination attempt, it's kind of funny because, I've watched you've watched the movies where the Secret Service is like really, really, really badass, right? Sad part is that's kind of really seems to be in the movies. That was embarrassing to watch.
Wow. Wow.
But just so you know, there's tons of video out there about, how everything went down, how they were investigating everything and everything that took place, where there's some new video out that kind of highlights and kind of shows you how the Secret Service went about making their decisions both before and during what was going on during the attempted assassination. And we have it. This is, I won't call it an exclusive because it's not exclusively ours, but I will tell you that it definitely shows you, it definitely explains a lot.
Agents Cletus and Spinetti, U.S. Secret Service. Hey, Spinetti, what do you think of this building 150 yards from the podium with a ladder affixed to the back of it?
150 yards? We should consider that outside of the 500-yard perimeter.
Copy that.
Hey, it looks like this roof has a pretty clear line of sight going straight to the podium. Think we should station someone up there?
Negative. The director said the roof is way too sloped. She considers it too dangerous for agents whose job it is to take a bullet for the president.
What is that, about a 10-degree angle?
It's actually 5 degrees. So no agents up there. Instead, she wants them up there on that roof with a 30-degree slope.
Roger that. So any agents stationed on the ground over by the ladder of that building?
No, that building 150 yards from the stage is outside of our 500-yard perimeter.
Ah, Big numbers. Copy that. Now, in the unlikely event that there is a disruption, what's going to be our exit strategy for the president?
I think we'll just kind of feel it out in the moment, see what's up then.
Oh, go with the flow, kind of like a Taoism?
Exactly. Kind of rise to the occasion kind of thing. All right, we're all secure here. It's a good day for a rally.
Cletus, we've got reports of a man with a rifle near Building 3.
Copy that. I'll get eyes on him in about 30 minutes.
Right here, flat on the roof. He's up now.
Cletus, yeah, we're now being informed by 37 eyewitnesses that the man is climbing atop Building 3 with a device shaped similarly to a rifle.
What, is he hunting?
Probably. There's a lot of whitetail in the area.
All right, well, just report back to me and let me know if he gets a deer.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went down.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. That's how it went. That's it.
I find that
Let's
incredibly believable.
Put the 150-yard target outside the 500-yard perimeter.
There you go. Exactly. But just in though, Mike, there is breaking news, and it's now, the day of, that he called the former president, or the president called the former president, but he wanted to make sure that he made and released a public statement. And according to breaking news, President Joe Biden has released a statement expressing hopes that President Reagan will make a full recovery, and that America is praying for him.
God, if Reagan made a full recovery, could you imagine? Oh, that'd be wonderful.
That would be interesting. That would definitely be interesting. Yeah. And then you've got this one. You've got this is the picture of. Why don't you go ahead and describe this one for the folks?
I just found this one hilarious. It's got Trump being escorted off of the stage by all of the Secret Services. He's got blood down his ear. He's got his fist up in the air, and he's yelling, "Fight, fight, fight!" And it says, "Me being removed from Olive Garden after eating all their breadsticks."
I'll tell you, it was funny. What's her face? Joy Reid was wondering, how was Trump able to get up and pump his fist in the air and be able to pose for an epic shot? Notice the Secret Service agent standing right in front of him, where that normally would have blocked that shot.
Yeah. Yep.
All I'll say is, get taller agents.
I'll tell you how he's able to get up. He got all that spinach they've been throwing at him.
You keep throwing cans of spinach at Popeye, eventually he gonna eat some.
You're gonna pop one open.
There you go. All right, folks. Hey, it's about that time. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get AR barrel rifles in pistol and rifle caliber, any length you desire for your next AR rifle or pistol build. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And of course, we want the best in field gear, tactical gear, outdoor gear. You can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit our sponsors, and all you got to do is follow the links in the description of this program. And when you go there, make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. And with that, we're going to be done for today. We're going to be back tomorrow on Free for All Friday. Hope you have a good time. I hope you stay safe. And if you get a chance, take some time and send a few downrange. We will holler at you mañana.